On a couple of occasions, we've invited Father Richard Leonard, a Jesuit from Australia, to give our parish missions. In fact, the first year he gave one, he'd just published a brilliant little book called Where the Hell is God?, which is a book I would encourage you to read, particularly at this time as we travel together through this pandemic. In an article that he just wrote for a magazine titled God Does Not Send Plagues to Teach Us Things, Though We Can Learn from Them, he says this: Christians believe that Jesus came to fulfill the Old Testament. They believe too that everything in the Old Testament should be interpreted through the revelation of God in Jesus Christ. This matters when we come to understand the meaning of plagues and other natural disasters. For the people of the ancient world, if there was a flood, plague, or pestilence, then God was saying something through it. But in the Gospels, Jesus never sends a plague, a natural disaster, or turns anyone into a pillar of salt. Jesus, the incarnate correction to false views of how God works in the world. So even though COVID-19's origins are yet to be finally established, they have a natural explanation. And the way the virus has spread has been in measure the result of poor human decisions. God has not sent this pandemic upon us. Whenever there is a local or a global catastrophe, whether it's the fire that destroyed the roof of Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris or the spread of AIDS, there are always some Christians who say that it has been sent as a punishment by God for various contemporary sins. This reveals a belief in God as a kind of extra powerful figure ruling the universe, a chief executive who tolerates bad behavior up to a point, but then his patience snaps and he stops the nonsense, sending a tsunami or a pandemic to remind us of who is boss. God, as a vengeful tyrant, is a neat, if frightening, solution to the deep pain in our lives. Our suffering has to come from somewhere, and perhaps it's understandable that some seek the explanation that it is sent directly by God. How can I be so confident that God is not deadly by nature? Because the God revealed in Jesus Christ is not a tyrant, but a lover. A God prepared to go to any lengths, even to give up his life on the cross to save us, even though we do not deserve it. John 1:5 says, God is light, in him there is no darkness. If that is true, plagues and pandemics cannot be part of an arsenal of weapons deployed by an angry God to punish us for our selfishness and greed. Spiritual sanity in these difficult days rests in seeing that every moment of every day, God does what he did on Good Friday, not intervening to prevent humanity killing Jesus, but not allowing evil and despair to have the last word. The power of amazing grace enables us to make the most of even the worst situations, to help each other in every way we can, and to let light and life have the last word. Easter Sunday is God's response to Good Friday, life out of death. Amen.